Hello YouTube, and as promised I'm back with some new content for once in a million years. Yeah, it only took a global crisis to get me out of hiding, but here I am. I'm currently on lockdown, like most of the UK is right now, except for apparently the builders next door that have decided after 3 months of not doing anything in there, they're going to smash the shit out the property next door. So if you hear any bangs, that's them. Essential work, thanks guys, brilliant. Presumably the rest of the world's doing some white hot reviews of toilet paper and dried pasta, but being the responsible adult that I am, I bought some gadgets. So I'm going to try and use them to keep me sane for a while, and hopefully I'm going to do some nice reviews. So got this bad boy here, little Aston Stealth, very nice little microphone there. I'm going to be doing a little review of that, little overview, you know, just for fun. And today we're going to be looking at the Fishman Triple Play Connect, if I can get it in the light correctly. There you go. So, what the fuck is that, you ask? Well, I'll tell you. It's a hexaphonic pickup for guitar. It's basically got 6 separate pickups inside of it. Each one picks up a different string, and then it can convert that information into MIDI, which effectively gives you a synth guitar. And it's pretty cool. It comes with an iPad app, but since dickhead here left his iPad at work and work's now locked down, I can't go back in, not for the time being. We're going to go PC Master Race with this one, and we're going to start running some VSTs, which to be honest is what I was wanting to do with it anyway. Now another nice feature that comes with this is notation software. So that means that you can play any riff that you've written into this software. It'll notate it and tab it out in real time, which is fantastic. It's a really useful skill. Even if you're not doing synth guitar, you want to just tab something out for all the band members to learn. That's great. We're going to see if it works with Guitar Pro as well as their proprietary software, maybe see which one's better. So that's another little test we're going to do. Now, it should be mentioned that there is a wireless version of this out there. This is the USB version. So, personally, I just thought I'll run a long USB cable if I really had to. I don't need wireless, so it was £150 more expensive for the wireless version. So up to you if you need it. Personally, I'm a cheap bastard, so I'm going USB. So the guitar we're going to be using for this little project is this one. This is the... try not to smash it off my mic. This is the Schecter C1 Stealth. It's a bit like the Hellraiser sort of guitar, but it's really stripped down. It's very basic, but it's really, really practical. I really like it. I got it for 120 quid. Yeah, the guy wasn't even dodgy or a criminal or anything either. He just had a really cheap guitar for sale, so, you know, quid's in. It's got a little dent on it there, you can probably see. Other than that, it's in really good condition. It's really nicely set up, even when I bought it. And, yeah, so we're going to try installing the pickup on this. And there's a couple of other little bits I'm going to put into this guitar while I'm at it. I've got this. This is a lace finger burner. It's kind of like got a weird burnt effect on it, which looks nowhere near as cool as it did on the actual pictures, the product pictures. But this was 30 quid from a guy in Scotland, made in USA. So yeah, we're going to give that a go. And then for the neck pickup, I'm going to use one of my personal favourites, the rolling mill. This is the Iron Gear rolling mill. 30 quid. Can't go wrong. So let's have a look at what's in the box, and let's get started. So first up, we've got the box here, featuring this smug-looking dickhead with his little stupid Stratocaster with little weird musical notes printed on it. And then inside that, we have the installation manual, so we'll save that for later. And then under that, we have the pickup itself. And it's kind of plastic, but it feels pretty nice quality, to be honest. It's alright. And then under that, we have both Lightning and USB 2 adapters, with right-angled micro USB at the other end. And then we have this magnetic plate, so that's screwed onto your guitar via the strap buttons, and there's also an adhesive plate underneath there, so if you want to put it elsewhere. Again, that's magnetic. It's pretty nice. There's a selection of mounting options of various heights. There's a Tune-o-matic removable mounting plate. You get a tiny little screwdriver for more height adjustment, and a tool for checking your string height there. Finally, there's this plastic bit. Now that attaches to your strap buttons, and it provides support for the USB cable. Right, we've got the pickups installed here. I've done a separate video for sort of documenting that process. I didn't think it was as important to leave on this video. It'd just make it a bit too long. So feel free to check that out if you want to have a look into that. But for this, we're going to be looking at putting the triple play pickup in. So the issue you've got at the minute, well, I've got 2 issues. Firstly, this has 6 pickups in it, as you can probably see there. Each one of these needs to be able to differentiate what string's playing. So as a result, this is why it needs to be closer to the bridge, because the strings vibrate less at this end of the guitar, therefore it gets more separation and it's more accurately tracking. If you put it up here somewhere, the strings are going to be wobbling all over the shop, especially if you're playing hard, so it's going to have less accuracy, which is not what you want when you convert into MIDI. The other issue you've got is that this doesn't fit in the gap between the bridge and the pickup ring. Bit of a nightmare. So I had a couple of options really. The first one was if I were to just basically hacksaw, you know, half a centimetre off the end of this bridge, which wouldn't really affect it, but might not look too nice, and you know, it's damaging part of my guitar. The other one is if I were to shim it. So the idea is I would stick something in this gap here, because if you sit this on the pickup ring, it's actually more or less at the right height it needs to be. So that's not so bad. So we can put it that way. The other thing is you've got these sort of little shims here. Obviously this won't fit in, but I could modify this piece of plastic. So what I'm probably going to do is shave a bit out of that, because this is roughly the same height as the pickup ring, so we can probably adjust that. And then, oh, if we're very, very careful, we can slide that in there, and then you're given a decent mounting option for the pickup. The other issue we've got is that I'm left-handed, and as people familiar with this channel probably know, that's a pain in the arse. And the issue you've got here is if you put it in its normal position on a right-handed guitar, this cable coming out the side here would be on this side, so it would go directly to where the pickup was. So when I'm doing that, you're having trouble reaching it over here as well. It's getting a bit stuck. You could sort of run it under maybe, but I don't know. But then you've got the USBs in the wrong position on here. That's going inwards rather than normally it should be pointing outwards. So what you could do is mount it this way, upside down. No problem with that, right? You mount it like that. No issues. You can just about get to the volume knob once it's in place. That should be fine. Wrong. Now the issue you've got now is that each one of these little pickups, apparently, once I did a bit of research, has its own frequency range. So they've got filters applied to them that mean that they're more capable of picking up a certain string. So the E string, you know, they'll have a range, but when you've got the high E calibrated string here and you've got the low E calibrated string here, yeah, your middle pickups might work fine, but these ones aren't going to pick up the range that that string is playing, even if you've retuned or whatever. So there is a way around this. Apparently some people who had Boss pickups did it, but you can do it with these. So we're going to crack this open, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the order in which these pickups go into the unit, which apparently is easier than we think, but we're going to have a look at that now and see what we can do. Now what we've got here is a control unit for the Fishman pickup, and we're going to try and get into this to try and take swap some wires about for the hexaphonic pickup. I've got this, which seems to fit. This, I believe, when I measured it, is a 1.5mm hex keys, in case you wanted to know that. Seems to work fine. It looks like there might be star keys, I don't know. Anyway, it works. It works. So we're going to take these out. And this is the unit that you're left with. This is what we want to adjust. Here, we want to change all of these coloured screws around. Now, I'm just going to see if we can just gently, there we go. So I don't know whether you can see here, I'll just have a check on the video feed. It seems to be decently in focus. So what you've got is you have got several coloured wires. Now, there are more than 6 wires here, and obviously we've only got 6 pickups. From what I've been led to believe, checking on forums, these first 2, the black 2 wires, these are earth. These other ones are for each pickup in order. So what we need to do is from the yellow to the sort of brown orangey coloured one, we need to reverse all of these. Right, so first thing to mention is that I've already taken a picture of where all these wires are going so I can reverse them properly. The aim of the game here, if I can do it, is to get this pin underneath this tab and to lift it. The camera's actually really useful here because I can see what I'm doing. Let's Get it under there. Come on, you little bitch. There we go. Right, so let's see if this pulls out. And there we have it. And that comes out without damaging it. So we're going to try that with all the others, and then we're going to swap the cables around. Boom. This actually works much better than I expected. There we go. That's 3 of them out. I'm going to move it round and do the rest. But yeah, seems okay. So now I'm going to reverse them, and hopefully my pickup still works. Now we've got them all removed, it's just a case of plugging them back in. I think I'll actually use the tweezers for this job, but you can probably use your hand. Actually, yeah, I use my hands. Screw it. So just make sure they're the right way around. I need to put the yellow one in on this side now, because we're reversing them. And just plug it back in. Just give it a good bit of welly. You can use tweezers if you want, just to make sure it's in nice and tight. That should, theoretically, be in there now. And there you go. So we just need to do that. Oh no, that was a lie. Now it's in. I'm going to give it a little squidge. Right. So that's in nice and tight now. Just do that with the other ones. Next up, we need to make sure that this little riser for the pickup can fit down this little gap. So first thing I'm going to do is I've got some digital calipers, and I'm going to try and figure out how they actually work. Yep, I think I've got it. And drop them in the gap, squidge it out, kind of get a general idea of how wide it is. So that's going up to 6.21 mil. We'll go with 6 mil. That'll definitely fit in there. Should be fine. Right. Easy. So what I'm going to have to do here is, on this bit of this pickup, because it's going to go that way, I'm going to be taking it off from this side. So I'm going to try and, on this bottom edge, cut this down so that it's 6 mil thick. I'm going to use a bit of masking tape, and then I'm going to move over to the windowsill where I'm going to make less mess, and try and bring it down with this. It may not be the best. I might pick a different disc or whatever for this, but we're going to see what we can do. I'm probably going to break it. It's going to be fun. Let's see what happens. That's kind of took a bit off. I can probably sand that down. Oh yeah, probably gonna grab a bit of sand and shit, just sand it down a touch, smooth it off. Actually, it's not as bad as I thought. It could have been pretty terrible. Let's see if it fits. The good news is, this now fits. So even though I've done a bit of a rough cut, boom, it actually just wedges right in there really nicely. The problem is, this pickup ring and this actual riser are slightly different heights, which means that when you try to put the pickup in, it doesn't quite clip into place. So what I'm going to try and do is, I've got the thinnest riser here somewhere. This one, this is like literally just a tiny thin strip, which is about the difference that we're looking for. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to like chop off all of the top bits and literally just turn it into a shim, then drop that in there, and then drop this one on top. And then hopefully we'll have a really nice fit, and we can just slide the pickup right in. Right, now I've got this. This is the little shim one, so hopefully this brings the other one up to the height. Fits okay. Goes in there. So this is just totally flat now. Hang on. Oh, fuck's sake. I had another shim. And it's bigger. It's... This one was the right height the whole time. I didn't have to do any of that. Yeah, I should have just used this one. Right, being an idiot aside, it makes sense to kind of stick this in place with the pickup attached, so that you can kind of line up where the strings are going to be. So you see where the saddles are, you want each of these pickups over it. So we're going to do that. All the way down. Yeah, bitch! It's working. And then you clip that out. And there you go. So we've got this little bit on here. I'm not quite sure, like, this supposedly just clips on like that. I should really read the manual. That would make more sense. But then it kind of wobbles a bit. So I'm going to, like, stick this other bit on it. And then see how that works. Yeah, so that's like way better now because it doesn't move at all. It's got the lip all the way around. I'm assuming that's probably how I was supposed to do it in the first place, but you know. Right, cool. Let's see if it actually works. We're going to get some strings on this bad boy and maybe listen to some sounds. Hopefully some MIDI. Right, now we've finally got the pickup fully installed, I decided that I need to get some strings on it, of course. So what I did is that I carefully researched and looked into the best set of strings I could get that had the best combination of both good intonation, frequency response, and... Did I fuck? I got green neon ones because they look cool. Let's try finally plugging it in. Alright, so I'm going to just start straight up plugging the USB in. See if Windows recognise it. Apparently it just works like a USB device. It's like USB MIDI device. So let's just see what happens. Alright, so this doesn't seem to work, so we're going to get the drivers involved. Alright, so I'm like device manager, and you can see there Triple Play Connect's been detected. It turns out the issue was this shitty USB cable that I got with it. It wouldn't work at all. Right, so there's no drivers for this device. It's literally, I've been to their website here on Fishman, and then it's like, install Triple Play. So we're going to get that. Let's put that on desktop. That should be fine. But then it's telling you to like install in the following order. Install Sample Tank, Contact, then Triple Play, then this East-West MIDI, and then you apparently got to log in and download all this other shit that you're meant to do first. Let's just install the fucking software and see if we can get a stupid fucking thing working. Alright, so after like a lot of fucking about, I think I've just about got this app working. I'm going to jump in here quickly. So like, hopefully that's coming up with it on screen. So yeah, like I've got it here. It's getting some sound in. I had a big problem before losing it there. Like I had a big issue. So you can see like I play the E string. It's coming up there, all around this bit. There's various sensitivities, so like, oh, jeez, man. So if you play it like louder, you get more. It's not quite perfect yet. I mean, you can see here, you can change the sensitivity. So you can like decrease and increase. And I've got that on like 1, that's like the lowest, and that's like quite high at the bottom. Just to kind of like make that work. You got a little tuner there, which is quite useful. It's actually not a bad tuner. It's, bit low there, but yeah, anyway, it's obviously worth having your guitar in tune. So the big issue I had though was like this software, like you were meant to get some free software with it, but I didn't get any code in the box. I did not get anything in the box. I got like, and like you can see it's telling you here, install Sample Tank, Contact, then Triple Play, and then there's all East-West MIDI. And like some of this might be nice, you know, I don't know what you get with it. I think you just get some factory shit, but yeah, like I went to download it and then it's like, oh, registration code down here, and I was like, well, I don't have a registration code. There was nothing in the box. So I've contacted Fishman about that, see if I can get it. Broken USB cable, no registration code. Nice, thanks guys, great. So the big issue I had as well was it wasn't working with ASIO. Like I went into preferences. Obviously first thing I did was change the audio device type to ASIO and then Focusrite. You can see I've got it working here, but previously when I did it, it would just crash the software until I selected the generic, I think it's generic low latency ASIO driver or the generic USB device, one of them two. So after like tearing my hair out about it, I ended up just selecting that to say what the hell does that do? And it did nothing. But then after that, when I went back and selected an ASIO device, it was fine. So we're going to try loading some stuff up. Obviously, I haven't got any of the sample packs that you get free with it because the dickheads didn't give me a code. The other thing is that this is kind of designed a bit like... You can click on this here and change your fingerboard, which is pointless. But so you've got these different splits. They're currently disabled, and I'm still trying to find... I'm going to have to read the manual. I've got some extra stuff here to read. Like, I can't re-enable them. I'm not sure where that comes from. No, you can change your tuning down here though, by the way, in your preferences, so that's a cool little thing. So if I'm playing in like drop D, I can change that down to a D or whatever. Each one of these splits, when it is enabled, when I figure out how the fuck to re-enable it, you can like split your fretboard here. So like this, like you could say that like certain notes or frets could be split into zones. You know, if you've got a keyboard, it's like splitting the keyboard in MIDI. You can do that, and that's what each one of these splits does. Let's bring our synth up though. Let's get something on. So like Vacuum Pro, that's a synth I've got. Door Smasher bass. That sounds sensible. That's cool. You gotta be quite precise, I think, because I'm seeming to be like. Cool, there you go. So you kind of got some. Yeah. Yeah, alright, cool. It does harmonics. The harmonics work, that's cool. Yeah, you're getting the odd little bit of triggering here, so I'm going to try and recalibrate it a bit. Let's see what we can do. I'm going to get rid of that. Yeah, oh, blah, blah, blah. Let's try something else. So I've got the Play VST64. Let's try Symphonic Orchestra. To get some brass. Yes. Some cinematic shit going on there. That's pretty good. Let's try a piano. So you've got this, and as you can see, it works as a VST host. So it'll bring up your little VST. It took me a while to figure out how to remove this as well. You have to long press this button because it's basically just an iPad app that they've moved to PC. They need to fucking sort it. Like, you can't like right click on here or anything either. You can't do anything with this list. You can bring open the interface by double clicking it. That's good, but you can't just like. You'd think that here would be where you would get rid of it. Right click and delete or move or whatever. They need to sort some of that shit out. It's not a great app for this. But yeah, not bad. We've got something working there. Next up, we're going to try it in Cubase and see if we can get it working a bit better as a plugin. Seems to be doing okay so far. So let's see if we can kind of get a little tune together or something. Maybe a bit of synthwave. See how it goes. Right, now we're into Cubase. So I want to try and get like the plugin working, but it's not. It's a piece of shit. Sort your software out, Fishman. It's dog shit. Like, I've got it up here and like it's on an instrument track and it just says looking for receiver. It never finds the receiver. The receiver's on. I've got it here. It's got little lights and it's even got sound coming out here. So like it's just dog shit. It just doesn't find the receiver. There's no way to kind of tell it to or anything like that. I've tried kind of going into devices and sort of looking at like the MIDI port setup. So I kind of like made these inactive. There's two versions of the Triple Play for some weird reason. I think someone else had reported that. And then, like you say, this plugin doesn't fucking work. It's a piece of shit. The good thing is that you can see on here, we've got like one of these Vacuum Pro sort of synth lines. You can bring the Triple Play Connect up as a... See what MIDI in too, actually. Does that work? Yeah, that works too. Apparently there's two MIDI inputs to do with Triple Play Connect. Don't ask me why. But yeah, so I've got the synth here. I've got some cool noises. So that's kind of cool. See what else we got here. this on triple play? I put all these on triple play. So it's like, the arpeggiator on there. Better if you got a drum track. Yeah, kind of little bass lines there. It's kind of cool. They're both on Vacuum Pro. Oh yeah, I even got like Superior Drummer here, so you got like drums coming in to be like. But yeah, so you'd have to like remap the kit, I think, to like various notes. You'd want to like sort of make it so your kicks here maybe, and then like your snares here, and that'd be kind of cool. You could play drums with your guitar. Not that you'd really want to that much. Alright, I'm gonna go with I've got an old plugin, Philharmonic, but it's got some shit on it, so let's see what this does. Yeah, sinister. Let's do some shit with East West. Nice. So that's pretty sweet. A lot of it, like, I don't know, I'm going to play the latency settings, see how low we can get them. Fuck that. On its own, it's probably fine. It's just got a lot of synth running at the minute. You could probably freeze all the tracks and get away with that. Alright, let's stick a beat on this shit. This might do. This is just from another project. Nice thing. Like, some of your shit might still need editing. Like I kind of just sat and like hit quantize on that, maybe quantize the ends a bit. But like it does make the composition a bit easier, so that's kind of cool. So yeah, but they actually came in on notes. So I don't know if it's unquantized on input because everything was bang on the note where it started. I do not play that well. Alright, so this sounds kind of cool. Alright, let's drop some orchestral shit on there. Oh, blah blah blah. Let's go with the brass again. Cool, let's give that a go. So now like I got like a dirty sitar that I put some distortion on and some like load of reverbs. It's like some cool little noises. So let's see what I can do with that, man. Let's stick a bit on. Then we'll call it a day. I think that's like a kind of track. Maybe. So one of the cool things you can do is like change it. So this sitar, I've changed it into a piano now, and you know, it's pretty easy. Got a few pops and clicks here, so we're going to play about with that. As your driver's like, fuck you, mate. Why have you got all this stuff going on? One of the things I nearly forgot, which is why you see me wear like probably about the 5th t-shirt you've seen me wear in this video so far, is notation software. I nearly skipped it out, but then I realised, oh god, I need to cover that. And now the software itself isn't too clever. I did try it with Guitar Pro. That kind of got MIDI in, but it didn't track it correctly, didn't really work very well. And then I tried this progression software that Fishman recommended, and it doesn't really exist anymore. It's called Notion now, but it's by Presonus. I managed to get a demo of Notion, and it was easy enough to set up, I'll give them that. So you can see the software here. I went in on the preferences. I literally just picked the Triple Play Connect as the MIDI input port, and then under the record settings you had some like little bonus bits. I did turn the minimum velocity all the way up because, well, quite a long way up, so that it didn't pick up ghost notes as much. Same with the duration, so that it's like 32 notes at 120 BPM. And then you've got the chord looseness. I don't know how that really works. But yeah, anyway, I kind of got it so it picks things up a little bit better. But the problem, as you'll see here, is that it doesn't really track well. I'm going to play some chords, and it doesn't really like... So we're going to play some like on the bottom maybe. Let's try it, and then you get it to record. Now, as you can see here, it's kind of picked up the first chord here is correct, actually. It's done that right. And then it's kind of picked that up as like being played on the as an open chord, which it could be played as, but I'm actually playing it here. And then again, like you say, this has actually done a better job than it did on other attempts. But there it's got this weird like 3 and 2 zeros, which is actually 3 and there. So it's not the right power chord there. That's incorrect. And yeah, it's just weird. It's kind of has picked this up, not as bad as it was before. I have to admit, that's probably the best it's managed at all. Everything else has been all over the shop. It's like just it transposes it. So yeah, not great to be honest. That I wouldn't recommend buying it, certainly for that feature. The one thing I would say that would work really well is if Fishman like integrated their app into some notation software, because their app can tell exactly what string is being played on what note. They have a virtual fretboard, so if they have a way to plug the virtual fretboard into notation software, that would be really powerful. That would work beautifully, and they'd be able to track bends, probably be able to track hammer-ons, I think. That would be great, but until they have a proper integrated solution where they're you know, their software recognition of what note and fret, the exact position on the fretboard you're playing, can plug into software like this. It's dog shit. Don't bother with it. So there you have it. That's the Fishman Triple Play Connect. It's kind of fun. I actually quite like playing through VSTs with it. It does what it says on the tin. It tracks surprisingly well. It does get the odd ghost notes, as noticed when I was checking out the MIDI, but I think better calibration and probably better playing will make quite a big difference. I think if you play it in a different way, you don't play it like you normally would a guitar with certain synths. Some are a bit more friendly to that kind of play style. But the tracking, the latency seems very good once you've got it working, as you would expect from a USB MIDI device. The USB, speaking of which, that was broken out the box, so that was bollocks, bad player there. The plastic thing to hold the USB in, wherever I've put it, is it on here still? This little plastic, this keeps coming off, which is a bit annoying, but it's probably more down to my strap lock than, you know, the strap button than anything else. Just doesn't have space for all the shit that's loaded onto it at the minute. Because you've got like the bracket, then you've got the strap, then you've got the other little strap thing, and there's just not enough space for the last bit of that, which is a shame, but you know, what can you do? So the other thing was no registration code in the box, so that was bullshit, Fishman. What was that about? I mean, it was sealed when I got it, so there was just nothing in there. No, I don't know. Maybe I'm missing something. Maybe someone's going to tell me, "Oh, stupid idiot! It was there all along. You need to tune your codec to this and talk to the kernel. He'll tell you." I don't know. But yeah, that's fucker. So I never got to test any of the in the box sounds. And you know, while the hardware is good, the software just leaves a lot to be desired. It's not great on the software side, in my opinion. The app is basically an iPad app that's been badly developed for PC. So things like having a long press, that's a phone thing. That's a touchscreen thing, not a PC thing. You want right click on that shit now, right? Sort it out, because you know, really. And the VST just didn't work. I couldn't get the VST working at all. I don't understand how it's meant to work. Maybe I need to go through the manuals. I will say I'm going to double check everything now, but I would expect it to pick the hardware up straight away. I did a bit of troubleshooting, but nothing. Maybe it works in other DAWs. Maybe Cubase is at fault. But I just felt that it should work just out of the box like that. At least pick up the device. So if anybody knows how to fix that problem, please let me know in the comments. That'd be good to know. One thing I'm probably going to do is, I've noticed that this is kind of radiused, the Fishman pickup itself. My fretboard isn't very radiused. It's got a bit of a radius to it, but it's not. It's fairly flat. So I found that, especially with the way that I modified this, this is entirely my fault though. I'm ending up raising the pickups. I've got quite a high action on the guitar at the minute, and it did have quite nice low action. So what I might do is I might swap these pickup rings around, because this is a much lower pickup ring, and then use the height adjustment on this to bring it closer so that I can maintain the low action and still be close enough to the strings to pick up the MIDI information. So, but that's something I wasn't going to do a video where I realised I've screwed everything up halfway through. It still works, it's still pretty cool, but you know, that's one for another time. Anyway, there you go. If you liked it, please leave a like. If you disliked it, I guess you can dislike it. Or even better, subscribe. That would be nice. I'll be doing some videos, hopefully getting some more content on the go soon, and we'll be back.